How does an MSP business owner get paid? In this video, I want to talk about what you need to do in order to get paid, how to get paid, the easiest ways to get paid, and never have to worry about where's the money coming in? Is it going to bounce? Am I going to get what I actually deserve? All of that ends in this video because I truly want your MSP to succeed. How are you doing? My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. We help MSPs grow. We teach MSPs how to sell more of their services and generate more leads for their business. So, before I get into today's video, I do want to invite you to go check out our website, growth-generators.com. And you can go over to, like I said, growth-generators.com. We have our programs, the MSP Heroes program, which is fantastic for all MSPs. If you're a brand new MSP just starting out, the MSP Launchpad. But more importantly, under the resources area, there's a ton of super helpful things from our blog to the free Discord that you can join, our link to the YouTube channel that you probably already know and love, as well as our podcast. And if you scroll down all the way on the resources page, you'll find tons of free trainings, you'll find tons of tools, you'll find playbooks, you'll find battle cards, how to handle objections, and truly so much more. It is a great place for you to go find help for growing your MSP. So let's talk about some of the challenges that you're probably going to have. Now, these challenges are not limited to just one specific RMM or PSA tool, right? But we use a PSA tool, a professional services automation tool, in order to grow our business, right? It's kind of the way we track everything. Shouldn't even say kind of. It is absolutely the way we track everything. And in theory, you can send out your invoices and all of that through your PSA tool slash RMM tool if they're combined, right? But they're not always that good. And in some cases, they might not do all of the things that you need them to do. One of the hardest things is keeping track of time. Now, if you're an established MSP, you're probably tearing your hair out at your employees not putting in billable time for everything when they should be. And if you're a new MSP, you're probably not putting in billable time for the things that you really should be doing. And this causes a lot of errors throughout the process. You have to go back and double check. You kind of second guess whether or not you're sending out the right stuff, if it's the right invoice or not. And at the end of the day, you might have to do some ticket reconciliation where you go through and break down, okay, is this real? Is this not real? Is this charged appropriately, right? Maybe you didn't get to it, or maybe you didn't do the right thing and you didn't go into your system and say, okay, I spent this much time on it. So I want to give you some quick little tips on that. But at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you how to get paid and the easiest way to actually get paid, right? The first thing that we want to do is we want to automate the PSA tools to the best of our abilities. Now, you guys already know I'm a huge fan of SuperOps. If you go over to superops.com, you could check it out. They're just a really, really cool platform. They use AI. They're built for MSPs out there and IT teams, right? A lot of them will do both. But you could see here, I'm a little sad that they changed their website, to be honest with you, but it still looks amazing, right? I am an affiliate of theirs, but you could do this in a lot of other platforms, whether that's Synchro, you could do it in Atera. There's so many different options out there, and those are just three of some of my absolute favorites. But we want to automate as much as we can. Truly, the more we can automate, the less stress we're going to have on ourselves when it comes to moving this down the field to ultimately get paid, right? Because even if they're paying you, right, a monthly, I don't want to say salary, but a monthly contract, we still need to track, right? It's maybe less important or even more important if it's just us. But as we have a team, we want to make sure that our team is doing the work. How much time are we really spending on that client? And is your team that you're building going in the right direction or the wrong direction? And that's really, really important. Now, something to avoid and help you with this is pull some reports. I think it's crazy how few reports people actually go through. This is a business. This isn't a hobby. And I think a lot of people really need to understand that when you pull reports, you can see who has tickets, what kind of tickets are outstanding, how much time have we invested into certain clients. But it's important to go through that. If you don't want to do it every week, do it every month, but build it into your calendar. I have things in my calendar that just trigger every single week. Hey, this time is blocked out to do either billing reconciliation, whatever it is, right? There's always time blocks in my calendar to make sure things get done. There's even time blocks in my calendar for free time, creative time that I get to use kind of however I want, whether that's sketching out ideas or coming up with YouTube videos or working on funnels, right? It's kind of fun because when you put it in paper, it becomes, or in this case, digital, right? It becomes real. And that's the important part about this whole process. But we also want to do something, and this is probably the second most valuable thing you're going to get out of this video. We have to simplify our pricing structure. I have seen so many people with these crazy, super elaborate calculators. And while that's great the first time, we have to make sure that we can scale with it. I like either two different options. I like a good, better, best, or a flat rate. Everybody pays. Everybody, you either go into our mold or you don't become a customer because anything other than that becomes a real pain in the butt to remember. And then it makes for sloppy work down the road and just causes more headaches than what it's worth, especially if it's for small customers. But we want to make sure that we standardize our services. We have that good, better, best that we could hopefully sell to everybody, or we just have that one flat rate. If you're working on break fix, I totally get it. And you might be working towards getting them over to a full managed contract. And that's not the easiest, but you want to work super hard to get them over because believe it or not, by getting them over, it makes your life so much easier. Are they going to put in a ton of new tickets right off the bat? Of course they are. But trust me, it is so well worth it. Now let's talk about time tracking and billing. Now, depending on what platform you're actually using, you could go through whether that's SuperOps or another platform out there. We want to make sure that we time track and bill appropriately, especially if we're doing those kind of services where it's ones, twos, maybe they're outside of the contract. And that is where a great company that I really, really like called Alternative Payments comes into play. Now, some of you might be listening and say, Harrison, what about Go High Level? You can send invoices, you can send contracts. But the nice part about Alternative Payments that I absolutely love, and I'm not affiliated with the company, I've never signed paperwork with them, but I really love what they do. They integrate with already all of your favorite tools, right? But the cool part about what they are offering is they have the ability to get you paid either immediately. They integrate with a lot of our tools already. They automate a ton of this. They can provide financing and they can send people to collections. God forbid you get people that don't actually pay. They also have solutions out there. Feel free to let them know that I sent you over. But truthfully, people are going to pay typically in three major ways, right? First, they're going to swipe their credit card. Second, they're going to mail a check, and I hate checks. Not that I'm worried about somebody's account bouncing or anything like that. That is not a fear, but checks take forever. And believe it or not, though, my least favorite part about checks is you have to sit there, you have to take your phone, you have to take the picture. Half the time, I feel like it never actually works unless it's like a printed check from them. But the real thing that you want is you want ACH. And what their program, and I will be doing a little bit of a demo. I did get a demo account from them, but you could say, hey, I spent an extra hour or emergency rate on this, and you can hit boom, submit payments, and it automatically withdraws it. However, your MSA, your master service agreement, is laid out. So every 14 days, 21 days, every month, every week, if it hits a certain amount of billable time or billable hours or billable amount of money, that's one of the coolest parts about that. And their system allows you to not have to go and hire somebody to be a part-time admin. Yeah, you might want to do that too, but going through and getting paid when you should be getting paid is the coolest thing about it. And the team over there is really, really cool. I've had the true pleasure of meeting Baxter, for the most part, most of his team out there, and they're just fantastic, right? You can send invoices through it, and they're already going through and working with all of the RMM and PSA tools that you absolutely love. And that's probably the coolest part about them. Like I said, this is not a sponsored ad. I'm not even an affiliate with this company, but after seeing what they do for MSPs, it's pretty darn sweet, right? And there you go. Create an auto pay rule. Amount less than $2,000, boom, it automatically gets paid, right? You don't have to miss payments. And that's the most important part, which means you get to spend more time building your business than you do have to chase money. When I first started my business, truth be told, it was miserable trying to get paid. Yeah, it's nice because you're like, oh, look at all this money. I got paid. But that goes away pretty quickly. And I remember when I was first starting out, I would talk to people and they're like, I hate getting paid. I hate getting paid. I hate, yeah, it's cool when you get paid, but tracking down the money was the worst part. And I was like, no, I love sending invoices. And then all of a sudden, people didn't pay their invoices. And I paid for QuickBooks and I paid for the recurring invoices and all that. And yeah, you can do some of the features of ACH through QuickBooks and whatnot, but it is nowhere near as simple as what alternative payments is doing. And that's the coolest part about it. I wish I knew about their system earlier because I would have implemented it, even not in the industry, because it just would have made life so much easier. And then you don't have to worry about having somebody do it, you carving out more hours than you actually should. And it's truly the easiest way to get paid for your MSP. Now, before I let you leave this video, I do want to tell you about some quick mistakes that people make regularly. And I've seen this in the MSP Heroes membership. I've seen this in the MSP Heroes Discord. I've seen this on Reddit. It is crazy how many people mess this up. So, the most important thing to do is don't wait. I cannot stress that enough. If you wait too long, people just aren't going to pay. And that sucks because now you have to go back and get paid. And who knows how long that contract is? Or if you don't have a strong contract, maybe they figure out a way to leave and they'll never pay you. And trust me, they will walk away and it is not worth the headache sometimes to try to get paid. Sometimes it is, but you tarnish a really potentially good relationship or anything like that. People expect an invoice every single month. You have to send them an invoice every single month. Do not wait until it's too late. This also goes with your tickets. Don't wait until the tickets pile up to be an unbearable amount of work. Nobody wants to deal with that, truthfully. It doesn't help you, it doesn't help your customers, it doesn't help your team. Stop overcomplicating things. Billing is a little bit of a pain in the butt. Yes, you're dealing with money, but you have to make sure that you get paid. Use a tool like alternative payments. Make sure you follow your payments correctly, but stop overcomplicating it. I love a good, better, best or an all inclusive package because it makes life easy. And last but not least, if you truly want to succeed in the MSP world, after you've hit the like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell, is you have to use the tools at hand. Now, I don't care if you use SuperOps. There is an affiliate link down below. I don't care if you use Atera. I don't care if you use Synchro, ConnectWise, whatever platform that you want to use out there. But if you aren't using the tools that you have at your disposal, that you're probably already paying for, you are absolutely missing out because I cannot tell you how many times people are cherry picking like one software that does this one thing minorly differently and it adds to their expenses, it adds to the headaches, to the integrations. I promise you it is not worth it in most cases. Sometimes, depending on if it's for security, yeah, there's an exception there. However, use the tools that you have. Use the tools in the way that they're intended to work. Truthfully, most RMM and PSA tools out there are designed to help you grow your business and make life easier. Use them as tools to grow, and I promise you, you will be more successful than all of your peers. I appreciate you checking out this video. I took some well-needed time off from YouTube. I've been focusing on just a little bit of decompression here. Obviously, many of you guys know I did have a death in the family here. It's taken a little bit more of a toll on me than I thought it would. I'm back in it now, but I did need some time off here. I love the heck out of you guys as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one.